strong.
Hi, and welcome to Funny Minds. I'm your host, Lynn B., and I'm with my co-host here today, and he is
Edward Bess. How are you?
And today we are very fortunate to have on a wonderful woman who is the president of the Orange County ASPERGER'S group. And she is the guru, the software IT guru of so many different companies. And it's JUDI UTTAL. And I'm so excited to have you on, JUDI. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Edward.
And I
Thank
see,
you.
I see you on LinkedIn all the time, and you're doing such wonderful things, and you're raising a lot of money. So tell us about your organization. I don't want to get into your directorships just yet, but tell us about your organization, because that's, to me, is very, very important.
Okay, so the Orange County Asperger Support Group has been around for 20 years. It's a 501c nonprofit, and our mission is to improve the quality of life for teens, adults, and their family who are dealing with high-functioning autism. And we do that through support. We have a lot of different support groups. We do that through social activities, and we do it through education. And just people often think that I founded this group, but it's more like I found this group because it
Okay.
when I showed up, and how I found it is another story. But so we were down in Orange County, California. I know there's an Orange County in New Jersey and an Orange County in Florida. We are in Southern California. But people participate in our group all over the country. So we have people in Florida, in Texas, and we reach out across the nation, but we're primarily focused here in Orange County.
Based out of Orange County with the housewives, I suppose.
The OC.
Yeah, I watch them all the time. But how did you, do you have a family member that...
Yes. So my son, who is now 32, is on the spectrum. He was diagnosed just before he turned 4.
Okay.
And so, yes, and he participates in some activities. I can't say that he's an avid participant. I end up doing more activities for other people, but I believe in paying it forward. So it all kind of itself around.
I know, in Jersey, I don't know about other states, but in Jersey, a lot of the food companies, ShopRite, I don't know what you have in California, but like ShopRite, Stop and Shop, they employ a lot of the kids that have a lot of problems. And it's not just, with those type of disabilities, it's any type of a disability, but they do go out of their way to bring these children in and have them working for them. And I think that's a wonderful thing. There was such a stigma. And I know a long time ago, in my ex-husband's business, they had a young boy there, and he just did stuff around the office, and it didn't matter. But, it gave him something to look forward to 3 days a week and function, and it made him feel good about himself. So I think your organization and what you're doing to help these people is just such an amazing thing.
Yeah, when I joined the group, employment, I did a survey. My background is technology and marketing. And so the first thing I did was do a survey. And I found that the number one issue, I thought it was going to be social, but it ended up being employment one by just a hair. And that really ended up fueling me being very involved in employment. But, autism is a spectrum. And so you have people, fairly low functioning who have other challenges. It's often can be present with other, epilepsy or other kinds of issues. And then you have geniuses on the other end, people like Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know.
So it's a very broad group of individuals. And so the career desires are different for different people. So some would be very happy working at a Starbucks or working at a grocery store.
Right.
But there are a lot of people on the spectrum who have college degrees and want to have careers. So, and have studied computer science, biology, other things. So, and entertainment, which is a whole other area of focus for me, where my son focuses on. So it's a challenge to bridge that employment gap for people on the spectrum because you have these differing skill sets and differing aspirations.
Okay. And at what level is your son, would you say?
At this point, he's fairly high functioning. I mean, when he started, he had a fairly low IQ, but it grew over time, and now he's extraordinary. But he graduated from Cal State Fullerton with a degree in television and film, graduated with a B+ average. He lives in a condo that we bought, but he lives alone. He drives a car. And he's currently working on projects related to our Autism and Entertainment Initiative. So he's doing great overall. Whether I am the type of person that plans, and I plan and with him, I'm planning for plan A and plan B. And plan A is that he's 32, but that he'll be able to be employed and earning enough money, et cetera, to support himself. And plan B is, maybe he's not. And I'm still not convinced whether we're going to be on plan A and plan B. My husband and I will go for walks and talk about it. I'm sure that a lot of people who have neurotypical kids have the same question with their own children. Are they going to ever be able to launch?
Oh, God, yes.
But so I help our community by educating them on how do you get to plan A and how to put together the set of government programs and financial supports you need for the plan B. And so it's pretty challenging for the average person to figure out this very complicated Milton Bradley game we call being a parent of somebody on the spectrum.
Tell me about it.
And how is the industry, the movie industry, the entertainment industry, how are they accepting, bringing these people into different positions within, movies or TV or, whatever their entertainment industry happens to be or portion.
So that's been a mission of mine for the last couple of years. Within OCSG, I started what I call the Autism and Entertainment Work Group. And I reached out across the community, parents who have kids on the spectrum who are in the entertainment field. There's a whole bunch of educators in there. And the reason why is that although Hollywood is extremely sensitive and reaching out to the diversity, what they call diversity is limited to really diversity of how you look or your ethnic background or sexual choices, but it's not about neurodiversity. And so right now we're at a point where I can't say that it's great out there for people on the spectrum to get jobs, even though there are many who are extremely well trained. It's just starting. We did a conference in April focused on bringing companies and inspiring them. But it's a challenge. We're not there. It's, when you build a little fire, it's or when you're making a barbecue, it's summer, right? You're just getting those charcoals going, but we're not ready to grill the burgers yet.
You're fanning that fire. It's going to take a
while to build that up.
Yeah, you're fanning that fire and waiting for it to, it's not going to explode yet.
To do what we can. I mean, and we're making progress. So we had a conference with over 400 people. Disney is bringing on some interns. They've had a diversity program for writers and directors, and they made a commitment to expand that to include neurodiversity. Netflix just announced a program this summer for writers where they're going to give a $55,000 fellowship to writers that are individuals with disabilities. So there are signs of progress. And the interesting fact is that in actuality, there are a lot of people in Hollywood who are on the spectrum and are very successful. And
I was going to say, I was going to ask you how, this is even challenging for Hollywood, considering the amount of neurodivergence that's already there. You know?
Exactly.
So it's it's kind of like any other
situation.
Situation, or we've, the course of our history, we've dealt with prejudice and misunderstandings, let's say, of society. And we've gone through this period of time where people will move to disclosing more about who they are and trying to build acceptance. And we're at the precipice, I think, of people in Hollywood acknowledging that they're on the spectrum and speaking to it. Mm-hmm. It's one of the nice things about this conference is our keynote was Jorge Gutierrez, who's an award-winning animator, and one of his great films was The Book of Life, and he embraces it, and he talks to how it's a superpower. We had Scott Steindorf, who's a film director and producer, and what we're seeing is, as awareness of autism grows, that there is a large group of people as adults who are saying, maybe I'm on the spectrum. I don't know. And they're getting diagnosed. Maybe their wife is saying, hey, I think you're on the spectrum.
I know.
and so they're getting diagnosed. And it might be happening because their child is getting diagnosed, or it might be just happening as part of their awareness. A great example is John Frizzell. John is a very well-known composer, has done like the music from Beavis and Butthead, along with 1,000 other animated
done a lot of different things.
And he was recently diagnosed. And he explains that years ago, he had some friends over. They were wanting to do a trivia thing, and he ended up finding a test for, are you autistic? And he took it, and he passed. And so later on, he went about getting diagnosed. But, these individuals who are fairly successful in Hollywood are now choosing to make it a mission to increase awareness and acceptance for individuals on the spectrum. And part of that, I'll just say one more thing about this, because I know I'm talking a lot. But part of that is that a lot of times people on the spectrum might need accommodations, or you could call those success factors. So there are things that you could do to the environment to make them more successful. So maybe it's noise, or maybe it's written instructions, or whatever it might, or maybe it's a different approach to a meeting and having an agenda, or, however people might, and we all have those in our lives. We all know, hey, I don't like to deal with last minute pressures. I do everything ahead of time because I don't deal well with the stress of last minute stuff. Mm-hmm. So part of it is them educating people that it's easy to build these accommodations, and then those end up benefiting the entire community.
Okay. All right. So let's move aside for a second. Who really is JUDI? What's JUDI all about besides all of this? Besides everything that you've dedicated your life to now, and you've dedicated to a lot, who is JUDI? What makes JUDI laugh? What makes JUDI have fun? What does JUDI enjoy? I want to know who JUDI is aside from everything else.
I grew up near the beach, so I love the ocean. I grew up in Pacific Palisades. I come from a family of 4. I spend time with my siblings. I'm married to a wonderful man who's a writer. Okay. We're both retired. He wasn't a writer in his previous life, and I didn't run a nonprofit in my previous life necessarily. We have a lovely little dog, Golden Doodle. Somewhere around.
Now you're talking my language.
So
what do you have?
I every morning I get up and I do Sudoku and crossword and Ken. So I'm a puzzle girl. My background was math, computer science. I like to be with my friends, movies, TV. I'm pretty normal.
You're pretty normal.
Nothing too.
JUDI, let me ask you this: have you ever played beer pong?
No. No. But I was a little sister in a fraternity once, but that's about it. That's as close as I got. And I did go to Carnegie Mellon, and every Tuesday night we had bar crawlers, which Carnegie Mellon's in Pittsburgh, and that's a real beer town. And so every Tuesday night we go to these different bars and learn how to walk home in the snow after having some.
So what you're telling us is that Tuesday nights you go out and get sloshed. Is that it?
That was 40 years ago. That was
okay. You don't do that anymore, huh? Maybe you should go out on
the old
Tuesday night.
It's like a glass of wine in the evening, that's for sure.
So now that you're retired, I mean, you just have the one son?
We just have the one son, yeah.
Okay. All right. So now you're retired with your husband. Your son lives on his own. So are you traveling? You doing any traveling or are you?
We're not doing enough traveling. We're doing some. We went to Japan in the fall.
Oh, nice.
Had a wonderful time. Nice. Went to Tokyo, Kyoto. That was just wonderful. We're Disney Vacation Club members, so we stayed at the there. We went to Hawaii last month, and our big trip is we're going to Australia in February. So that nice. We're excited about. You know, COVID kind of put a
damper.
We retired, and then COVID happened. You know?
Yeah.
And so that really was disruptive to the plans we would have had to travel. So, and to be honest, I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I need to somehow make more time for fun. As you described
you do.
Than I necessarily is doing.
Is that your doggie?
He has a dog. Oh, yeah. I can't see the head. Oh, that is cute.
Yes, that's his Cavalier. She's so cute. She really is cute.
Oh, look at that.
That's Duchess.
Does your Cavalier watch TV?
She does everything with me. Literally. I can't go to the bathroom alone.
Aww.
Yeah, I love our dog. This is the best. We've had 3 golden retrievers, and this is our first smaller dog, a golden doodle.
Oh, they're great.
She's about the same size as your dog, and it's so much fun. She goes, whenever we go in the car, we say, "Oh, Ellie, you want to go on an adventure?" And she just runs to the car.
Yeah. They're like little miniature people, you know. I had a golden.
Such good company. Such good company.
I had a golden. I had her for 17 years. She was beautiful. She was a great dog. But I just, after, she had to be put down, and it was such a trauma for me that I couldn't do, I just couldn't do it again. And I'm by myself. So, it's kind of hard. And I'm so involved in so many things.
Yeah, it's disruptive to the travel,
Yeah, it's disruptive to a lot of things, which is true, but they are beautiful dogs, and they've just got such great natures. But any dog, most dogs do anyhow.
Can we talk a little bit about fun?
Sure.
More about fun. I just wanted to share about our support group and creating fun for our members.
Okay.
So I mentioned my son doesn't participate very much in our activities. He says that's mom's thing. So I had to come up with an activity that I thought he would enjoy. And he is really into manga and anime, which, part of our reason for going to Japan.
Right.
And one of his favorite YouTube celebrities is a guy who calls himself Animat. His name's Matt Brunet, and he lives in Canada. Okay. And I thought, why not have Matt do a discussion about animation? And so once a quarter, he leads a discussion. He does amazing research and talks about anime and cartoons. We had one a couple weeks ago, and he talked about the history of SpongeBob. And if you can believe it lasted a whole hour.
On SpongeBob?
On SpongeBob. Who knew there were all these SpongeBob spin-offs and SpongeBob movies? And
oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
So, my grandson's not allowed to watch SpongeBob yet.
And a large number of people show up for just a discussion about SpongeBob. Another thing, we got a grant from the city of Irvine. They had these grants, there was this Build Back Better money to address populations that were impacted by COVID. We were talking about COVID. And so I applied for a grant for social activities for people on the spectrum because their life was really disrupted by COVID.
Right.
And unlike other people who may have been able to stay in touch with friends or, we used to have Zoom dinners and things like that, because they were more isolated and also the services they had stopped, they were really impacted. So we've been doing this Friends and Fun program for the last 3 quarters. And one of the most fun things, and we have a wonderful social coordinator, Erin Alonso, and she's organized scavenger hunts in the mall.
Oh, I love scavenger hunts. Oh, that's so much fun.
Oh, exactly. And that has been really great. But, they went to the beach, they go play bowling. We were planning the activities for this next quarter, and we've got going to Wild Rivers. And anyway, it's really important that people have time for fun and connect with other people in having fun.
How many people do
JUDI,
you have in your...
what's the tie to Toastmasters?
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's a good question.
I noticed that when I was reading up on you, and I know about Toastmasters. I've been involved, and it's a great thing.
It's a really important key to me and how I'm doing what I'm doing now. So back about, maybe 15 years ago or longer, I started a Toastmasters group at my company. And I did that because I felt like I was running a marketing group and I felt like they needed to improve their communication skills. And for those who don't know, Toastmasters, it's turning 100 this year. And club number 1, I can see their building right across. They're actually here. They were actually founded in Orange County.
That's awesome.
And so it's a program, it's a nonprofit for helping people improve their communication skills. And they do it through kind of a meeting format. And so at the same time, my son was doing a program that was called Peers. It was a UCLA social skills program.
I've heard of it, yes.
I live in Orange County, and the program was in LA. And for those that are familiar with LA, you don't measure distances by miles. You measure it by how long it takes you to get there. So for me, it was taking us 2 hours to get
Very much so.
From Irvine. And in the Peers program, they divided us in groups. So there were the people on the spectrum, and then there were their parents. And we each had a separate section talking about different curriculum about social skills, like how to deal with teasing, how to set up an activity, all sorts of things. And one of the things that they were encouraging was that these individuals joined clubs. So on one of these drives, I was driving and I thought, God, what better club for somebody with autism to join than a Toastmasters club? And so that idea led me down a whole journey that I had no idea I was going to go on, which was really looking at the effectiveness of Toastmasters for people with autism. And so a couple years later, I ran a workshop, and that's how I found Orange County Asperger's Support Group, because I wanted to do a workshop for individuals on the spectrum, and I needed to draw from that population. So I reached out to that group and explained what I wanted to do. And then 2 years later, I was on the board and then running the organization. But so I did that workshop, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And I just saw such growth from these individuals in terms of the communication skills, but their confidence and their sense of identity. It was just so positively impacted. So then I started a Gavel Club, which is a type of Toastmasters club, and I've been running that for 11 years. So once a month we meet on Saturday. And so I've been doing that. And then last summer, what was JUDI doing in addition to planning the Autism and Entertainment Conference? I was
She's like, I'm just taking over the world. I don't know. I don't know how much time I have.
It was a burnout year. But I had shared this program with some professor, Sasha Zidek, Dr. Sasha Zidek from Cal State Fullerton, and she got a grant from the Organization for Autism Research to investigate the effectiveness of Toastmasters for individuals on the spectrum.
That's amazing.
So she's been busy. She worked with a colleague, Yaz Balerian, and so they interviewed all the people in my group and their parents, but they also found there's a whole group of other individuals that are distinguished Toastmasters, etc., who have individually found Toastmasters and are on the spectrum. So they investigated and talked to them. And then last summer, we ran 2 workshops, which are called Speechcraft, and we did that twice so that they could measure the effectiveness. And so they're now busy analyzing the results and will be preparing a paper. But so that's been, that was kind of what I'm really glad you asked that question, Edward, because that is really what started me on this journey, was having that idea on the San Diego freeway and
the San Diego
saying,
freeway.
what the heck? Let's try it.
Morning thoughts as you drive on the freeway.
Yeah, sometimes
inspirational.
You don't want to get in a car accident, but
Yeah, right.
It's really, we all get these crazy thoughts. Maybe it's in the shower, maybe it's on the freeway.
Right.
And we talk ourselves out of doing it. Oh, it's probably been done. Oh, I don't, it'd be a lot of time. All the different excuses we do. But when we take those ideas and go with it, you just never know where it's going to take you.
Where you're going to end up with it.
Yeah.
How many people do you have
really
in your group?
the perfect tie. It's the perfect tie-in
that's true.
For neurodivergence of any degree, to be able to stand there in a safe environment, formulate your thoughts, learn how to put them forward without being judged, and so that the tie together is just perfect. Perfect.
It is. It is for exactly the points you raise. I mean, first of all, I do a group that's just people on the spectrum. There's also a group also called Neurodivergent Leaders Toastmaster that I helped found. That's actually virtual and headquartered in New York.
Okay.
But a lot of people will join other clubs, and there's clubs in hundreds and hundreds of countries. So you could be in India and join so it's inexpensive and available everywhere. And it's a very, very supportive environment. It's a place where people come to get confidence in themselves. And so there's a lot of positive feedback that's built into that, which this is a population that's been really brutally abused and teased and bullied. A lot of times I will have members of my club spend the first couple months just talking about the horrible experience that they've had in dealing with the population. So it's great there, but it's also an opportunity for them to talk about things that they're passionate about. And a lot of people on the spectrum have these passions. Maybe like my son, it's animation and manga. Maybe it's dinosaurs. Maybe it's video games. And they have these passions. And this is an opportunity to take 5 to 7 minutes and share your passions with people and have them hear you. And it's also an opportunity for learning to speak impromptu. So there's just so many benefits that really end up having a positive impact on this community.
Yeah,
well,
big time.
Judy, you've done an enormously marvelous job, over these past number of years. And the minute I saw it, I was so interested, and Marlene and I talked about it. And I was just so in awe of everything that you've done and you have done and you're going to do in the future, because I see you opening up an awful lot for your organization and the people that belong to the organization, your group that belongs to the organization, not only there, but in a lot of other places. And I'm very happy that you were able to take the time to be on the show. I was really thrilled that you said yes, because I just think that your whole passion is so enormously wonderful. So could you tell people where they could find you? And if there is an area where they can donate, if anybody's looking, when they look at the show, where they can find you and where they can go on to donate.
Okay. We have a website, ocaspergers.org. and there's a donate button there. So you're welcome to donate. We also are trying to get funds for our autism and entertainment. So that's autismandentertainment.org. And again, there's a donate button. And we're wanting to do the conference that we did in 2024. That was amazing. And do that again in 2025. And it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time to make that happen. So we're just at the beginning of that journey to figure out how do we turn this into an organization that can help support and grow the success of this population in the entertainment space.
Well, I'm so excited for you, and I support your efforts 100% because I think it's wonderful. And
Thank you so much for including me. Thank you to those people out there who are taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate you inviting me to be on your podcast.
Absolutely. I was just so thrilled. I was just really thrilled when you said you would come on the show. So with that, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye. And in saying goodbye, I have to tell all of our fans out there that we are funnyminds.com. You can go on our website. We have a lot of new things in the store, and we're doing a new logo. So our logo, there's 4 different logos, and we have shirts, and we have mugs, and we have here's just one of them, and wall hangings and stuff. I mean, it's crazy, but go on and take a look. You're going to be very surprised at the new things that we're doing and the affiliates that we're doing. So with that, I'm going to say again, thank you, Judy. I really appreciate your time. And to all of you out there, as I always like to tell you, be happy, be safe, be healthy, be non-judgmental, smile and laugh, because laughter is always the best medicine. So bye-bye now. Again, thank you, Judy. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.